Good afternoon. Just gonna do a devotional video today on the idea of something I had discussed in a previous video about the order of things. God the Father is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. And what I specifically wanted to do was look at the aspect of Christ and the man. And so the title of this video is going to be Mastery. The idea of mastery is that a man, in order to be a true masculine man, a biblically masculine man, a man who has power and has the ability to put it in check, or has the ability to wield that power in a manner that is righteous, comes from this idea of mastery. That a man has to first, we could look at this two ways. A man has to have mastery of himself before he can have mastery of anything else in life. Another way that I look at this is not just mastering himself, but being mastered by the master, being mastered by Christ himself. And when I look at the historical, biblical context of the idea of a boy becoming a man, the whole idea of becoming betrothed and whatnot, the man was oftentimes many years older than the girl. And I think it's for good reason. The idea that when a young man is learning a trade or a skill or an education in the modern world, there's this period of time that the man is kind of getting his finances together. I know in the West we look at it as getting his finances together, but I think it's more than that. This time period of becoming a master of himself, that does include finances. That definitely includes finances. It includes being able to become the man that can master his home, the kind of man who can have his own stuff together so that he can help other people get their stuff together. This is kind of the concept, Christ saying, remove the log from your own eye before trying to remove the speck from someone else's. A man has to get the log out, so to speak, in order to be able to function in his home and in the world that he is in. Has to have mastery of himself. So just as an example, many men do not have ambition and drive, and in the world they're not striving for something greater. They just kind of go with the flow. And for us men, we're called to greatness. I believe each and every one of us are called to greatness, to be kings in our own castle and to rule in our own kingdom, so to speak. Obviously, I mean, I'll get into this later, but what the blood on the doorpost and all that stuff. But a man has to have a greater calling than himself. And we obviously know what that is in this community, that's to seek the kingdom, to obey God, to keep his commandments. And that is the greatest calling of a man. So the man has to first get mastery of himself. And I guess this would be a good place to put that. But if you've watched my channel for any period of time, you know that the dalet is symbolic of the law and the instruction. In the pictographs, it's the door to the tent. And so the law and instruction is directly connected to the door. We know that the law was to be written on your doorposts, and we know that the blood covered the door of the house in the Passover. And that's all symbolic. And writing the commandments on the doorposts and the lintels of your house was symbolic, because what that was saying was the master of that house. Now, if I didn't write those rules, now the rules of my own house would prevail in the home. So you would have to submit yourself to the law and the instruction of the home that you were entering. But what's fascinating is the man, because we know that the word zakar, which is the word for male, it was his job to remember. That's what the word zakar means. It means male, but it also means remember. And it was the man's job to remember the commandments. So what's interesting, on the door to the house, the man was to, if he was in covenant with the Most High, he would write the law on the doorpost of the house, meaning that that law supersedes his law, meaning that as for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord. That's what that means. Okay? So a man has to be mastered by the master in order for him to master his wife and children. A man has to be subdued. Now, you got to go back and look at my other videos too on this. A man must be subdued by Christ in order for him to be able to subdue the world around him. If you think about the idea in the garden where the Most High tells Adam to go into all the world, subdue it, and to bring forth fruit, okay? So in order for a man to bring forth fruit and to subdue the garden, that man first has to have the knowledge, the understanding, and the ability to subdue the earth, okay? And that comes through experience. Textbooks don't, they work to a very minimal degree, but hands-on, going out into the world and putting his hand to the plow and working it comes through hands-on. Okay? And the man has to be refined by the refiner. The man has to be subdued by the subduer. The man has to learn this idea and has to learn these ideas of bringing order to his home by the one who created the order, Christ. But in order for a man to be able to bring that order to the home, in order for the man to bring this structure to the home, in order for the man to subdue the world around him, the man has to first be subdued. The man has to be brought into subjection. He has to become a bondservant to Christ in order to lead his own home. Because the man, one thing I've noticed in the world today that we live in, one thing I've really noticed is that men lie to themselves. And if a man lies to himself, he's automatically not going to trust his own decisions because he knows he's untrustworthy. And we see this in relationships and marriages where not only does the husband lie to himself, he says, I'm going to do A, B, and C, and then A, B, and C never happens. I'm going to do this, and then that never happens. Men lie to their wives, to their children, out of fear. They lie constantly to themselves and to other people, and so they have no confidence in themselves whatsoever, because he hasn't been subdued. He hasn't learned to deal with the evil inclination in his own heart. And that evil inclination, especially in the world we live in, is to create a world of, well, we don't want to disturb the peace. We just, we want everybody to be happy and everybody to like us, and that's something that we've been bred. That's been bred into us. That we've been taught to live like this, to live in fear of what other people think about us, and to live in subjection to the woman and what, looking for her validation and looking for her approval. When that's just completely backwards. The woman should be looking to the man for approval. The man needs to be looking to Christ for approval. So in order to do that, the man has to, in essence, fight through the dragon of himself, fight through this version of himself that is infantile at a young age, and learn to wield his sword, learn how to fight in the arena of life, like teaching your boy to ride a bicycle, like you can help, but eventually he has to take over, and the risk that comes with that is falling and hurting, getting hurt, and all that stuff. That's the journey of a man, is taking risks and learning how to become powerful, getting his body into subjection, his stomach not telling him how he's going to eat, what he's going to eat, and when he's going to eat, knowing that, hey, I've got to be disciplined, I got to get up at this time and take care of these animals, and I have to do this, this, and this, and being disciplined and getting up and routine, and becoming a man of great admiration and success comes from him first mastering himself, getting himself in order, getting himself in line. And then once the man, and I'm not saying that a man ever arrives at the top of the mountain, I don't think that ever happens, but I think there's a point where a man has a good footing, he has a good head about him, he's been through enough life experiences, he's mastered himself to the degree that he's like, okay, I'm ready for a woman now. I'm ready for a woman now. I'm ready to take on a wife. And automatically we know, if you're going to get a wife, that, consummation's going to happen. Children are coming right around the corner. Okay? So the man has to be in that place where he can command the kind of respect when he gets into a marriage, that the woman sees that this man he's refined. A man that she can wholeheartedly submit to and be subjected to. And if this man disagrees with her and says, no, this isn't how it's going to go, she sees that this guy, he's a ruler, he's a king. And she wants his babies. She wants this man to raise her children, because she sees the kind of men that he is going to produce, the kind of girls that he is going to produce, because he is a rock. So the whole idea of this video is to address us men that we really kind of have it backwards. We get married and then somehow we think we're going to become men because we attain a wife, when in reality we shouldn't become married until we've become men. And a lot of times this doesn't happen till later in life. We don't find ourselves becoming men till really late, and a lot of times too late. But we should be getting mastery of ourselves. And for the young men out there, teenagers in high school, junior high school, look, guys, get mastery of yourself. Learn who you are in the Lord. Learn the gifts that you have. Learn the power that you have as a man. You are a powerful being, an amazing, powerful being. And I'm telling you this, I don't know who you are out there, but I know you're a king. I know you're a king because you're a man. You are a king. And it is our job to first defeat ourselves, the old, bad, infantile version of ourselves. We have to conquer that first, and the way we do that is by bringing ourselves into subjection to the Word. Okay, the first rebuild project of a man's life is not a 57 Chevy or a 69 Mustang. It's you. Get under the hood. Start taking out the spark plugs and replacing them with newer ones, faster ones. Better exhaust, better everything. We got to get under our own hood and figure this out. Quit lying to ourselves. Quit lying to the people around us. Be a man of our word. And look, if we can be a man of our word, if we can trust our own word, then we can be trusted. And not only can we be trusted, but it builds confidence. When we say we're going to do something and we do it, as a man, that builds confidence. Going to the gym, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this with my body, and I'm going to eat this way, and I'm going to do this. That builds confidence when you can achieve these goals. Make goals for yourself. Look at your sin daily. And oftentimes what I find is the more sin I find, and the more I become refined as a person, and as I grow as a man, I find that when my status becomes elevated to a new position of grace, a new position of favor with the Most High, it comes with its own set of issues. So what I find is as I become a more masculine man, then I have to make sure that I'm learning how to become a more balanced man. That a man can become so obsessed with the masculine side that he doesn't learn how to be a nice guy in the power, in the frame of that power, is also being nice and rewarding people with your favor when they do well and when they're submissive and they're obedient and they do those things. Rewarding, because that's what the Most High does with us. When we walk in obedience, He rewards us. And in the same way, and there's going to be another video on this, that women, like they say they're attracted, they want a nice guy, a sweet guy, and this and that. They do want that. They do want that. But it's the unspoken aspect of that we're not getting. What they're not telling you is that they want a man who is powerful, a man who's a leader, a man who is masculine, okay? But what they're telling you is kind of what she's attracted to. She can't help but be attracted to the strong man, to the leader. She can't help it. But the aspect of the nice guy, okay, she does want a nice man, but she, first and foremost, like I said, everything has to come from a position of strength. If niceness comes from a position of weakness, you don't have any power, then you're just weak. Niceness is just weak. Niceness is weakness without power. Power makes niceness, makes that being a nice guy, makes it all the more powerful, makes her melt in your hands, your arms, your lips. Like, she just, to know that she's got a masculine man that is not afraid of anything, a man who does what he says what he means what he says, does it all, and is physically showing this out in how he conducts his business and how he operates as a body. It is a turn on to a woman to have a man who is an absolute beast of a man, powerful, but he is subdued in the sense that he knows how to exercise, when to exercise, and all the nuances of exercising that power, and it's all under constraint, it's all under restraint, that this powerful man wraps his arm around his woman and is good to her when she's in line with him. And the man that knows how to lead when things are not in line with him. So, men, we got to master ourselves. We have to be willing to take the risks, to get the bumps and bruises along the way, to learn and to grow. And yes, it's going to be hard. Most men don't want to do the work. The work is getting you straightened out, getting you figured out, and you facing the side of you that is weak. Because that's what men struggle with, is weakness. Now, there might be some men out there who struggle with being too masculine, and in that case, you got to learn how a good man, a strong man, has the ability to give good gifts too, and it knows how to be good to his wife and his children. Nice guy has to go with the masculine guy. I would say the masculine man embodies the nice guy, but the power is there first. The foundation is the power. So, with all this being said, I want to say Shabbat Shalom to those of you out there who are keeping the Sabbath tonight. And I just want to give praises to the Most High for everything that He's teaching me. And as He teaches me, I simply just pass it on to you. Everything that I am teaching you, I have, and sharing with you, I don't even know that I want to say the word teach. Sharing with you, I've done everything and walked in all of this first. I can't share what I don't know. I can't give what I don't have. Okay? I can't give anybody anything that I don't first possess myself. So I'm a man who is doing this on myself, done this myself, and so I just want to say, may the Most High bless you in your obedience. By you conforming your hand to his hand, he can put stuff into your hand. Proverbs 1:23, if you turn at my reproof, I will fill you with my spirit and give you understanding of my word. The key, always the key to understanding God's word is first repenting so that you can be filled with his spirit and be given understanding. If we're not willing to do the work, we won't be filled with the spirit, therefore we won't be given understanding. It will be impossible to grow in this walk as a man and to be a masculine man if we don't first allow ourselves to be subdued and come under the subjection of the word himself, the law himself, Christ, the great I am that I am, Hayashir Ahaya. Men, be dominated today by your master. Learn to be dominated and ruled over by your master so that you can become a righteous ruler in your home. Be the good bondservant so that other people can be good bondservants to you. We are a redeemer of sorts in this world. We are a picture of Christ. That's what Ephesians talks about. You can't be a redeemer if you're not redeemed yourself. You can't break people of lying if you're a liar. You can't help people to rule their bodies and their life if you don't rule your body and your life. Love you guys. And I really mean that when I say that. Men, we are getting destroyed from every direction. We're taking on the enemy from every direction. But the destruction happens in here, and in here we allow it. Men, we have all the power in the world, we just don't know it. You have the keys to relationships, you have the keys to success. Everything exists in you. It's not outside of you, it's inside of you. The kingdom is in you. Got to draw that out. So, Shabbat Shalom. Pre-Shabbat Shalom. It's still light outside. But I'm going to take my granddaughter and get a bite to eat and have a little fun with her today. And so, just wanted to share this with you. And love you guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. Alright, I thought I was done with that video. I did want to say one thing. This idea of mastering yourself. Too many men today have, they're mastered by things other than Christ. They're mastered by addiction, specifically porn addiction, addiction to food, addiction to cigarettes, to weed, to substances, alcohol. Man can be mastered by nothing other than Christ. Nothing. A man should be mastered by nothing other than Christ. Meaning that if you're at a job and somebody says you need to do this for money and it goes against your principles, against what the Most High put on your doorpost, then you don't do it. Okay? Being mastered by things shows weakness. Being mastered by needing substance to take care of the mind, and substance to bring some sort of gratification to the body. A man should not be mastered by gratification. If you are dependent on sex to feel fulfilled, if you are dependent on, even if it's with your wife, look, the why behind what you do is the most important aspect of everything you do. If you're mastered by sex, if you're mastered by drugs, you're mastered by alcohol, you're mastered by something to get you through your day, that's weak. That's weakness. We can only be mastered by Christ himself. Cannot be mastered by your wife, cannot be mastered by your stomach, cannot be mastered by your children, cannot be mastered by the Bashan online, cannot be mastered by anything. We have to understand that, man. We are powerful beings, and if you can be subdued by your gut, by your crotch, by alcohol, by food, by your mind, by what you see, you're just a rabbit chasing a carrot. Okay? Men should be mastered by nothing. Okay? Shalom.